Oh, man, this hurts. Can't believe it's almost time for us to say goodbye to our long-termer and official shoot car here at Living It Up, which is the 2023 Kia Seltos. And man, has it surpassed all our expectations. Everything that we threw its way is gone above and beyond, meeting all the requirements. Well, almost. So when it comes to choosing the right shoot car, our needs are a little bit different compared to your average buyer. Of course, we wanted a car which was safe, which was spacious and comfortable over longer hauls. And on the safety front, this obviously has you covered. You get 6 airbags as standard. On this X-Line trim, you also have ADAS level 2, you have front collision warning, you have lane assist, you have hill hold control, you have ESC, you have TPMS. So yeah, on the safety front, that was never a problem. But the one feature which really stood out for me was the 360-degree camera, because it made parking this, even in the tightest of spots, on the tightest of trails, that much easier and more comfortable. Also, with a 433-litre boot, space wasn't really an issue. Even on our outstation shoots with a 2 to 3 member team, I was of course on a motorcycle. But yeah, for all of our equipment, for all of our gear, for all of our luggage, that was more than enough. But the one thing which really stood out, especially on the longer hauls, was the comfort on this, man. I have a 2019 Kia Seltos 1.4 petrol turbo, and the first thing I noticed on this was the ride quality is so much better. My Seltos felt a lot more stiffly sprung. This one, especially the rear suspension, seemed a lot more compliant. The ride quality is of course also helped with the 18-inch wheels which the X-Line comes with. And on the inside you also have a whole flurry of creature comforts like ventilated seats, you have dual channel AC, you also have enough head and leg room to make longer hours in the seats, even at the back, that much more comfortable. It's also the other places, the small bits from a shoot perspective, where the Seltos goes really high. One of them in question is this. So if you open the trunk, you'll see the floorboard is actually flat, which is perfect. So if you have a gimbal and once you mount your camera on it, you need a flat surface to stabilize and calibrate the gimbal. So this is perfect for it. And once you're done doing that, all you gotta do is just get this open, and this deep arch, this crevice right here where the spare tire sits, is perfect for either of my DOPs to sit in, because they felt a lot more secure sitting inside and securing themselves with the rear seat belt. And this was perfect to do all the tracking of our motorcycle with the boot open. The X-Line also comes with a sunroof, which we truly exploited to its full potential, because that gave us a nice new angle, a new perspective, especially for our top-down shots. Then you also have blind spot detection, which proved to be the perfect visual cue for a driver, especially when you're tracking, because he knew the exact moment when he had to swerve to the other side. Same goes for the cruise control. It's a very small thing, but for tracking, it's a lifesaver, because then once you set your speed, it just means the car is going at a predictable pace, and that makes the life of the photographer that much easier to get those fluid, smooth moments with minimum jerks. You also have 190 millimeters of ground clearance, which proved to be really handy, especially when we're shooting the new Himalayan, because that gave the Seltos access to some really remote trails. And what I like about this setup is that even with this new plush ride quality, it hasn't come at the cost of agility and poise that I've always loved on the Seltos. Because even now, for a car of this dimension, of this size, it actually goes to the corners really well. There's not as much roll, which is perfect, especially when you're trying to get those fast action shots tracking shots even in the twisties, because minimum roll means that the cameraman is not moving around as much and the shots are that much more clean and stable. Same goes for the braking as well. Now this was the one big problem which I had with my Seltos, where I felt that the brakes were like an on-off switch. They would come on really hard, there was no progression. Luckily on the new Seltos, they seem to have fixed it. The braking on this seems to be a lot more linear. There's a lot more progression, which means that you can brake a lot more confidently, which obviously helps you also control the pitch, which is again very important to get those stable shots, especially when you are tracking. But yeah, if you really want to have fun with the Seltos, the new Seltos in the corners, I would switch those tires, because the JK tires aren't really the best for having fun in corners. And then of course you have the engine. So coming from a 1.4 litre petrol turbo, I was of course very curious to see how this new bigger 1.5 litre turbo petrol engine does. And the best part about this partnership with Kia is we got to try the Seltos in all of its trims, including the 1.5 litre diesel. But this one right here, the 1.5 litre petrol turbo, especially in the X line, was hands down my favorite, because I feel that this one is running a slightly different engine map compared to the same engine in the GTX trim, because this one felt a lot peppier, a lot more responsive, a lot more engaging to drive. The only thing which left me wanting was definitely the transmission. I mean, especially coming from a manual, I felt like the transmission on this was not the fastest. It was also quite restrictive, because even when you are driving in the sport mode, a lot of times, even at 4000 RPM, it doesn't allow you to shift down, which was quite frustrating to say the least. And honestly, I'm quite bummed that Kia doesn't offer this 1.5 litre petrol turbo in a manual, which is really sad considering how amazing this engine is otherwise. But I guess that's the silver lining for me, yeah? That's the one thing that I can continue to adore on my old Seltos, which comes with the manual. Because in every other aspect, the new 2023 Seltos has pushed the envelope so much further. So with a heavy heart, we have to now return this to Kia and thank them for the amazing time that we have had with it. But that also means that now we are also on a lookout for a new long-term shoot car on Living It Up. So do hit me up in the comment section and let me know what you think would be the ultimate shoot car on our platform. Ciao.